Good morning, everybody. It is 6 o'clock in the morning. Rocky is over there. Quite a cat. Anyway, yeah, I was just awake here. I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning. I seem to be waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning a lot anymore. Um, and I was thinking about something because when you're awake at that hour, what do you do but think, really? I mean, I'm not going out at that hour to do anything. So, anyway, especially back here, you know. So, like I say, I'm awake, and I've been awake, and what I've been thinking about is conspiracy theories, and there's a reason for that, and the reason for that, the reason for that is that I'm thinking about how those of us who believe in some things that are considered conspiracy theories are labeled and judged by those who don't believe in these things. And I understand how it happens. So I'd like to apply a little logic and reason and common sense to the whole thing. Um, and so what I'll do is I'll make some examples that are relatable to explain the situation. Now, our Prime Minister in Canada is a member of the World Economic Forum. In fact, he's a young global leader, which is the training program run by the World Economic Forum for, young people, for teenagers and so on, who aspire to be world leaders at some point. He subscribes to the viewpoint of the World Economic Forum. And if you want to know what that's a provable thing. And if you want to know what their viewpoint is, you can find out very easily because they're pretty open about it. You know, they're not hiding their viewpoint. They're coming out and telling us what their viewpoint is and what they want to do, what their plans for us are. They are also heavily tied in with the United Nations. Now, if you're a Christian and you attend a Christian church, you probably are going to attend a church whose doctrine lines up with your view of God. Realistically, that's what you're going to do. If you're running a business and you're a Christian, you're going to run the business under Christian principles. If you're running a business and you're a communist, you're probably not going to be running a business because you don't believe in running businesses if you're a true communist. You know? So you're probably not going to be involved in free enterprise or in private business if you subscribe to the communism, at least if you subscribe to it. If you're sincere, if you're a real communist, a real dyed-in-the-wool believer in communism, you're not going to be running a business. If you're running a business and you tend to lean towards fascism, well, then you're going to run your business in a fascistic way. You know, the way you treat your employees and the way you deal with your customers and everything, it's all going to be done in the way a fascist would do it. And you see, so whatever your personal belief system is, that's what you take to whatever you run. You're going to run your household according to your personal belief system. If you're a Christian, you're going to want your children to practice Christian values and so on. You're going to want to teach them to do that. If you're of some other persuasion, you're going to want to teach your children that. So see, it's not a far out there idea that our Prime Minister here in Canada, who is very much a member of the World Economic Forum and who very much subscribes to the World Economic Forum's point of view, it's not really a big surprise that he would run the country the way that the World Economic Forum would like for it to be ran. That's just how it goes. I mean, yes, he's supposed to be here to serve us, but he hasn't been serving us. He's really been serving the World Economic Forum. And that's not a conspiracy theory. His legislation and the different things he's done in his time in power here have more than proven that he is in fact serving the World Economic Forum, acting in their interest and not in ours. Now, what happens though is we have certain things that are controlled opposition that are designed to make anybody who thinks logically and who actually can show you verifiable sources. Like, look, the World Economic Forum, like I say, they are open about it. Like I say, they actually tell us what their plans are, and you can find out who's connected with them, and you can look at the policies that are implemented all over the world in different countries. You can also see that countries around the world are acting in unison. They're all over the world. They're passing similar legislation, which just so happens to line up with what the World Economic Forum is pushing. I'm not a huge believer in coincidence. I believe that most things happen for a reason, and I don't think that's a coincidence myself. When certain agendas are being pushed by world leaders all over the world and certain legislation is being passed simultaneously by all of them, that's unusual, or at least by most of them, that's unusual. And then most of them can be tied back to the World Economic Forum, and the stuff that they're putting out there lines up with World Economic Forum beliefs, plans, and values. If I meet you and I see that you own a dog, I'm going to assume that you like dogs. That doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist. That just makes me observant. Because who's going to go to all the trouble of training a dog, all the work that's involved in that, training a puppy and so on? Who's going to go to devote all the time and expense and energy that it takes to having a dog in their life, unless they value having a dog in their life? You see, if you don't value having a dog in your life, you're not going to have a dog. It's as simple as that. And, and as I said before about Christianity and so on, you're going to go to a church that, their doctrine lines up with your viewpoint when it comes to God. And so on like that. That's what people do. So, and, you're going to run your home, you're going to run your business, and so on accordingly. If you're the CEO of a country, which the Prime Minister is supposed to be the CEO of Canada, the Chief Executive Officer, you're going to run the country according to your values. Now, I mean, technically, they're supposed to run it according to our values, but we know that in practice, that's not going to happen, really, unless their values happen to align with our values. As citizens, which our current Prime Minister, his values don't. So his values align with the values of the World Economic Forum. And again, that's a provable thing. Now, of course, we have QAnon, for example, and there's people who are part of that. And what QAnon does, QAnon is actually controlled opposition. And what QAnon does is they take certain verifiable truths The kinds of things that I believe, like that the World Economic Forum has got their nose in our business too much. I believe that's true, and it's verifiable. And the things the World Economic Forum wants to do are also verifiable. The kind of world that they want us to have, that's verifiable because they tell us. They actually come out and they say it. So there's no excuse not to know what they say. And before you call somebody a nut for believing that this is what's being pushed, then you need to know who's connected to what and what role they play. And you need to know what the things they're connected to are pushing, what agendas are being pushed by those things. Now, but what an organization like QAnon does is it discredits, because they throw in some truth like that, but then they add all kinds of off the wall crap that only a crazy person would say. So, they add in, Elvis Presley isn't really dead. He's living on Mars or something with the aliens or whatever. Or Oprah Winfrey is oh Oprah Winfrey. Oh, what's that guy's name now? That isn't that awful? Um, you know, I was thinking of some old actor from the 50s or whatever, and I was going to say Oprah Winfrey is his, Walter Brennan. That's who I was thinking of. Oprah Winfrey is Walter Brennan's love child. That's the kind of stuff that QAnon puts out there, and they mix that up with the truth. And so everything gets muddied, everything gets soiled, everything gets dirty. So as soon as a guy like me says, well, our prime minister is heavily into the World Economic Forum and he's pushing World Economic Forum policies on us, people say, oh, yeah, you're one of those guys that believes all that weird stuff. Yeah, you're one of those nuts, You probably believe that, that Jimmy Hoffa is living over in Saudi Arabia, and he's got a harem, of women, and he's just living the life over there or whatever, that he was abducted by some sheik and brought over there and all this. You probably think that's what's going. You probably think that's what happened to him, or and it's like, no, I don't believe all that crazy stuff. But the stuff I do believe is verifiable, So, I mean, but what happens is it all gets lumped in together. It's like if you're doing your laundry and you have a nice white dress shirt, and you put it in there because we've worn it for a couple of days and it's got your sweat in it and it's got a little bit soiled. So you put it in the washing machine and it's just agitating away there, getting clean. And then you have a pair of jeans that you were using working on a farm, and you were shoveling horse crap with them, and they got horse crap on them. And then you fell down in the mud in the barnyard at some point, and they got all covered in mud and everything. And you toss those in there. They're all crusty with mud and horse shit. And you toss those in there with your nice white dress shirt. Well, chances are you're going to ruin your nice white dress shirt by doing that, because it's going to muddy the waters. It's going to take your wash water and just muddy it up, and it's going to make everything in there dirty. Well, you see, that's what happens with an organization like QAnon. They take the good stuff, the stuff that's true and verifiable, and they mix it with crap, with mud and crap. And then everybody gets a label on them. Oh, you think the World Economic Forum is real and is a threat. Yeah, you must be one of those nuts that believes X, Y, and Z. which is all world economic, which is all QAnon stuff that they've added. Because they'll put the truth in there, but then they add all this other stuff to it, all this off the wall stuff. And so, that's by design. That's to make everybody look like a nut. That's to make anybody who sees what's happening look like an insane person so that we won't be listened to. Anyway, the bottom line is there's a lot of stuff that's verifiable that show that our leaders, our corporate leaders and our political leaders, for the most part, are operating against us. Elon Musk, so many people think he's a great hero and that he's for free speech and whatnot. Elon Musk owns Tesla Corporation. If you buy a Tesla car and you don't like it, and then you're not satisfied with the service that you get from Tesla Corporation, which a lot of people aren't. A lot of people have bought those cars and have had issues and then have had trouble getting good service from Tesla Corporation. If you go to social media and you complain, they'll pull the program because, you see, you buy the car, you own the car, but the car runs on a computer program. And Tesla retains ownership of the program. It's their property. So if they disconnect your vehicle from the program, if they pull the program, which they have a right to do because they retain ownership of that, that effectively turns your car into a brick. Your car is you can't even get into your car. That's happened where people couldn't open their car doors because Tesla had turned off the program to their car because they complained. Now, Elon Musk is the owner of the company. That couldn't be happening unless he has sanctioned it. So he is not for free speech. And on top of that, Elon Musk, all this Neuralink stuff that he's doing, again, that's going to lead to mind control. And that's a provable thing because it's that technology is in fact it in fact has those capabilities. You get one of those things implanted in your brain, you can be subjected to having your mind read and your mind controlled through that device. And that's a provable thing. That's not just an off-the-wall conspiracy theory. It sounds strange, yes, I admit it sounds really strange, but it's a provable thing. It's a strange thing, and it's a real strange thing, though. It's not just a made-up strange thing. And so, yeah, Elon Musk is not for free speech. Elon Musk is not who he passes himself off as. He speaks some truth, but bear in mind, the devil speaks some truth too when it suits him. When it's to his purpose, he does. When it serves his purposes, he'll speak some truth. The devil is the father of lies. But that don't stop him from speaking truth when it serves his purpose. And so, even the biggest liar will speak the truth if it serves his purpose. So, yeah. Anyway, the bottom line is, if you look into these people even a little bit, these people who are in high places within corporations and in high places within government and so on, for the most part, these people don't have your best interest at heart. And they don't want you to know that, though, because they want you to follow their program. And so when you're deciding what you're going to buy, where you're going to spend your money, where you're going to work, where you're going to live, how you're going to live, all that stuff. They want for you to be influenced by them. That's the point of advertising. Advertising is designed to influence, to convince you that you need this product, or did you need to buy the particular brand that's being advertised. You know, you need to own a Chevy. You know, you need to drink Coca-Cola or whatever. That's what it is. You need to drink McCain frozen concentrated orange juice. Every morning you need to drink that so that you will be a healthy person. You see. And in reality, a lot of these products contain, I don't know about McCain orange juice specifically, but a lot of these products contain things that actually are not healthy. And that's coming out. All the crap that they're putting into this stuff. I had a friend years ago that wouldn't eat a certain brand of ice cream because he said it had floor stripper in it. Well, I had done janitorial work and I knew about floor stripper, wax stripper for floors, because we used it in my line of work back when I was doing that. And you'd put that stuff on a waxed floor in an institution like a school or whatever, and it would lift the wax. It would take the wax right off the floor, strip the floor right down to the bare surface. Now, this fella told me that is in ice cream. This particular brand of ice cream. I'm not going to say the brand. But he told me the stuff contains wax stripper. I would never buy that. It contains wax stripper. It contains floor stripper, he said. Well, I looked into it and I found out he was right. One of the ingredients in that ice cream is, in fact, the stuff that we used to use to strip floors, to strip wax off floors. That's kind of disturbing. But he was right, and he said, I won't eat that ice cream. I won't eat that brand of ice cream because it has that in it. And he was absolutely right. I can't recall the name of the ingredient, but that ingredient is, in fact, the same stuff that we were using to lift the wax off of commercial flooring, off of institutional flooring. Pretty scary stuff. Anyway, bottom line is the food supply is poison. That's by design. That's not by accident. Our politicians are connected with organizations that don't have our best interest at heart, and they're running our countries according to their wishes, according to their plans and their agendas, which run in opposition to our well-being. And again, that's a provable thing. Walter Brennan is most likely not Oprah Winfrey's dad. Oprah Winfrey is most likely not Walter Brennan's love child. And Elvis Presley is most likely not living on Mars. But they throw all that stuff in there to make everything sound crazy, to muddy the waters, just like the soiled jeans being thrown into the washing machine with the white dress shirt. What's Rocky up to? Where is he? I don't know where he is. I hear him though, but I don't know where he is. Anyway, that's the bottom line. Oh, there he is. Okay, there he is. Hi, Rocky. Good morning. Good morning, Rocky. I don't know what you can see. Can you see him? Can you see that crazy cat? Yeah. Oh, There he is. Okay, there he is. Hey, Rocky. There he is. He's coming to see me. Hey, you. He's purring. He's happy. He's a happy kitty. Wait a minute. I'm going to bring the phone over this way. There we go. Anyway, that's the story. There's a lot of things that just aren't what we're told they are. We be lied to a lot. Not all conspiracy theories are crazy. In fact, many of them are verifiable. Some of them are crazy, for sure. But that's why you have to have discernment and you have to use your brain. And you have to actually look into things. You can't just accept a thing on its face value. You can't just say, oh, well, I saw a YouTube video where they said this and therefore it's true. There has to be verifiable sources for these things. Like I say, what's happening in my country of Canada, there are verifiable sources for this stuff, that what our prime minister here is doing and who he's connected to and so on. We got a bill right now going through Parliament, Bill C-63, that will impose life in prison for exercising free speech. If your free speech is deemed to be hate speech, and basically if your speech upsets somebody, it's deemed to be hate speech. And also it goes retroactive. They can go back prior to when the bill gets passed. They can look at all your social media and stuff, and they can prosecute you for anything you've ever posted on Facebook or any other social media platform. I'll be going away for the rest of my life, if they come after me, because I posted all kinds of things that they regard as hate. They're really not hate, but they're considered hate by these people. And in the end, it'll be what their definition of hate is, not what mine is, that will determine where I end up and for how long. But yeah, this legislation, they're going to basically put a bounty. They're going to have people reporting you for saying things that they don't like or that they found offensive or hurtful. And there's going to be a bounty. Those people are going to get $20,000 if they report you for that. So we're going to have people going through Facebook when this law passes, looking for things that they figure will get you in trouble and reporting you. Going all through your profile and reporting you. That's what's going to happen. Because they want that $20,000 check. There'll be people making a good living. There'll be people making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year going through Facebook and reporting people. I would do that myself, except it goes completely against every principle I have. I couldn't live with myself if I did it. But I got to admit, it would be tempting if it didn't go so badly against my principles to do that, I'd be tempted. And there are lots of people who don't share my principles. And they will be tempted and they'll do it. So that's what we're dealing with here in Canada. And that's not a conspiracy theory. You can find out, you look up Bill C-63 and you'll find out what it says. It's called the Online Harms Act. They're trying to say that it's to protect children from pedophilia and stuff like that. And this is what they do. Now, protecting children from pedophilia is a noble thing. I don't think anybody is going to argue against that. But what they've done is they've thrown all this other stuff in there that has nothing to do with children and has nothing to do with pedophilia. That's what they've done. So, plus our government itself seems to be very sympathetic and empathetic toward pedophiles. I mean, now it's getting that you can't even call a pedophile because that's considered hateful. What I just said there, calling pedophiles pedophiles, there'll be some bounty hunter will watch this video and report me for saying that and get $20,000 in their jeans for saying that. You know, have $20,000 in their pocket because they reported me for calling a pedophile. Because what I'm supposed to say to be in compliance with the laws of the law of the land is I'm supposed to refer to pedophiles as MAPs, minor attracted persons, because pedophile is too hateful a word to use. It's too harsh a word, apparently. And so we're not allowed to be harsh or hateful when it comes to the things that pedophiles do. Yeah, that's where we're at in this society. And that, again, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's all provable. Anyway, if I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life, which may very well happen as a result of all this stuff that's going on, then that's how it'll be. But I'm going to exercise my freedom as long as I can. I'm not going to voluntarily stop being a free man because I'm afraid of having my freedom taken from me. That doesn't even make any sense. That's like voluntarily confining yourself to a wheelchair because you're afraid you might get crippled. Well, someday I might get run over by a bus and end up in a wheelchair. So I'm just going to go ahead and put myself in a wheelchair now. Even though I can walk, I'm just going to live in a wheelchair. That's what it's like. If you give your freedom up voluntarily because you're afraid of losing your freedom, it's the equivalent of that. It's a stupid mentality. If they want my freedom, they're going to have to take it by force. I'm not giving up my autonomy. I'm not giving up my freedom. They'll take it by force, and I know they will. Like I have no doubt that they're prepared to do that. But the thing is, I'm going to force them to do that. I'm going to be free until they physically come and take me to prison. That's how it is. And when I'm in prison, even, I'm going to practice free speech. I'll be yelling out the windows. I'll be yelling out of my cell. And if they come and beat the hell out of me and take me to solitary confinement, I'll be in there yelling the truth as I see it. That's the way you have to be. You have to be defiant. You have to be, you have to have a hell no attitude, basically, to come up against these people. In school, we all knew bullies, and we all had dealings with bullies. If you weren't a bully yourself, then you had some dealings with bullies. And the thing about a bully is, if you provide no opposition, the bully continues to do what he does. And they even escalate it. It gets worse. But when you push back, then you become more trouble than you're worth, and the bully moves on. And when I was in school, there were times that I pushed back against bullies. And the bully was implying that he was going to fight me and all the rest of it if I pushed back against him. And I'd push back anyway, and the bully would be clenching up his fist, and his jaw clenched up and ready to fight me. And then he'd just relax and say, you're not worth it. And he'd walk away. Yeah, and they wouldn't bother me anymore, though. That's the thing, because I had made myself more trouble than I was worth. And that's the key. You got to be more trouble than you're worth when you're dealing with these people. Anyway, that's it. Not all conspiracy theories are true, but some of them are. Far more of them are true than I'm comfortable with. I actually wish I was a nut. I wish that I was just an insane person who thinks stuff that isn't right, because that would be far less disturbing than what the truth actually is. But like I say, not all conspiracy theories are true, but too many of them are. And that's an issue. It's a serious issue. All right, we'll talk to you later.